Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker announced that schools here in the Bay State would be closed for the remainder of the school year, and that includes the BR School District. And although in-classroom learning has been discontinued since the middle of March, virtual learning has become the new normal for students, teachers, and parents. Earlier, I had a chance to talk to the superintendent of the district, Derek Swenson, about the virtual learning and more. The announcement came down Tuesday that Governor Baker ordered all schools to remain shut down for in-classroom learning for the remainder of the school year. So as a superintendent, what is your first reaction?
Well, I will tell you this, I will say from the beginning, we've had a lot of communication with the Commissioner of Education, Jeff Riley, and the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, all the way through this process. And we realize that, where we are in regard to the pandemic, and this not only being a situation within the Commonwealth, but throughout our nation and globally. So we understand that, measures have to be taken. I feel as though, seeing how social distancing has really helped us in, somewhat flattening the curve, and that we need to continue that practice along with other health-related practices. I understand where the governor is coming from. I agree with his decision. It's just a point right now, especially that they're considering that the Commonwealth of Massachusetts is in the surge of this as well. And even, post-surge of, the COVID-19 pandemic, it is going to be a situation where we're still going to have to put guidelines in place in order for people to remain safe in regards to social distancing. So, a lot of people think about schools. I think about, just the bus ride into schools with 60 students in a bus. So there are a lot of moving parts to this situation. And I know it's difficult for folks at the state and federal level to make these decisions. And it's very difficult for us at the local level to make these decisions. But we're all doing it based upon the health and safety and well-being of our students, our families, our staff, and our communities at large.
And you mentioned those students. Since I believe the middle of March, maybe the end of March, students have been switched really from in-classroom learning to virtual learning. So have you heard any feedback from teachers, principals, and you have students of your own in your family? So do you have any feedback surrounding the virtual learning, which I'd imagine has been a real adjustment for some people?
Oh, absolutely. And we've said from the beginning, nothing is going to replace the type of education you get in a brick and mortar setting with a teacher or teachers that are with you for 6.5 hours a day, other supports that you have within the buildings in terms of extra help nights. You have folks from the guidance departments, school adjustment counselors that provide services throughout the day. So nothing's going to truly replace that traditional setting. However, we did work very hard together collectively to put together a remote learning plan for our students. The admin team worked very hard through, and we kind of went around with guidance that we were receiving through conference calls with the Commissioner of Education. We put together our plan. We worked collectively with our teachers and support staff to put together a plan that we felt as though would be feasible in terms of the implementation at home, knowing that parents are home with students working from home remotely themselves because of social distancing. So we wanted to make sure that it was something that was rigorous in terms of the students being able to keep on track academically, but not overly burdensome that it made it difficult for parents to implement it at home while they had other responsibilities as well. I will say, as soon as we put our plan together, the commissioner did come out with some guidelines. We were then able to kind of marry the two together, and we were able to distribute that plan in early April. Mr. Powers, our assistant superintendent, did a great video tutorial that walked parents through it. And to this day, it's still, our primary focus is the health and well-being of students, families, in our staff, and communities at large. And we stressed that through the entire remote learning plan. We realized that the remote learning plan is going to be difficult for some, especially if they are impacted, God forbid, by themselves with COVID, or a family member that they may need to take care of. So the key to this whole plan, we've said from the beginning too, is flexibility. We realize that, not all students are going to have equal access to learning that others might. One thing that we recognized was that a lot of our students throughout the district did not have access to technology. So at that point, we got together collectively. We're able to distribute over 250 Chromebooks to our students and communities. So that's a huge part of the plan, because they have to access it digitally. Some of the things that they can do, however, are paper pencil. It's not all totally digital learning. So we tried to make sure that we provided those opportunities for students that may not have access to things such as printers and whatnot. So again, foremost, it's the health and well-being of our folks. And it's also a situation where we want to take into account that our parents are doing a tremendous job at home, not only working from home, but also, in many respects, becoming the homeschool teacher at home too, to support their students. So it's definitely a cultural shift. I think it's something that our teachers were somewhat prepared for, but not totally prepared for. I don't think anybody can say that they were totally prepared for something like this, but it has been a trial by fire. And I feel like in the end, we will be stronger and better prepared for it. And we have gotten somewhat of a trial by fire professional development opportunity in remote learning. And I think that's going to help us down the line when, maybe now snow days aren't snow days. Snow days become remote days, because now we have this, to kind of be a reference point too. So I do want to say thank you to my administrative team for all of their hard work. Thank you to our teachers who work hard each and every day to put these plans and activities together for our students. Thank you for all of our support staff that are helping us as well. And thank you, yes, to our school committee who has supported us along the way, and to our parents out there who are fighting the good fight each and every day.
There's been one topic on social media I've been reading about, and that is topic of graduation. Now, this school year has been one like we've never seen before. So has there been a contingency plan maybe discussed as far as a graduation to try and celebrate the accomplishment of these students that have spent 12 years maybe in the district or in learning?
Yes. I will say my heart breaks for all of our kids right now, but there's a special spot in my heart for the class 2020. And through all of this, I've thought about all of, you go through 13 years, basically, of public education from kindergarten up to 12th grade. And this is the year really that should be kind of the swan song, where you're going out and you're enjoying, the seniors, you're the leaders of the building. You have all kinds of end of year activities that you are part of. With the senior sale and our academic awards and our scholarship nights, and of course, the greatest one being that of graduation. Throughout this whole time, we've been trying to hold on to hope that we would be able to have a traditional graduation ceremony on May 29th. Once we kind of started to get a sense that, because of, the data that was out there, and that the fact that the Commonwealth of Massachusetts was on, the edge of entering a surge due to this pandemic, we started to kind of see the writing on the wall a little bit and figured that May 4th was probably not going to be a return date. And for the most part, probably we weren't going to return for the remainder of the year. With that, prior to the, announcement by Governor Baker yesterday, we started to come up with some contingency plans. What are the things that we could do for our seniors that may not be the traditional graduation ceremony, but would give them something in regards to their memory of their senior year. So we did start talking about virtual graduation, having students create slides of themselves, maybe with what their future plans are, or some type of motto or saying that they want to, pass along to their classmates and communities. We would still have all of the same, folks doing our speeches and whatnot. And then we would put it together with the help of BTV, because you guys are tremendous in helping us with all of the different things that we do from an audiovisual standpoint for our district and community. We would put that together in montage form and present that, with the understanding that should we flatten this curve, and should the state tell us and the governor tell us that, it is safe for us, say in sometime in July or August, that we could get collectively together to have some type of traditional ceremony. Of course, that's the direction we want to go. So we're still kind of stating that, we're going to want to put the virtual piece in place, with the hopes that come July, August, we can still have some type of traditional graduation ceremony, either on the football field or in the gymnasium at the high school. So again, none of us have a crystal ball. We can't tell you what July or August is going to bring, but I will say that our students have earned, and most importantly, they deserve a traditional ceremony. And if it is safe enough to do so, we will make sure that we plan and provide that for them.
Since you become superintendent, there have been a couple events, one locally, one globally, the Mitchell School roof collapse and obviously the COVID pandemic, that have disrupted learning in the classroom. But the teachers, the students, the parents, it seemed like they continue to roll with the punches. They're resilient here. So as a superintendent of a district that has had some hiccups as far as events, and it's way out of your hand, obviously, but can you speak to resiliency of the students, the staff, and the parents around the district to continue to try and keep things kind of as normal as possible?
I was told a long time ago, and I've always kind of kept this as a mantra when it comes to leadership. Tough times don't last, tough people do. And what this district has encountered within the last 5 years, in terms of the Mitchell roof collapse and what we're dealing with now, I cannot say enough about the grit and the resiliency of my administrative team, of our teachers, of our support staff, of our community leaders, of our parents and families. And, no one can control situations such as a roof collapse or, unfortunately what we are dealing with now. But we can control the way in which we conduct ourselves when those things are happening. And that's I think that's a true test of what people's character is all about. And I think we have proven time and time again here that despite what is going on around us, we have a job to do. And our job is to make sure that we provide a safe, welcoming environment, whether it be within a brick and mortar school district or a setting, or a remote learning setting, that is in the best interest of our students, so that our students can continue to learn, grow, and succeed. And I feel, despite everything that is currently going on and the issues that transpired with the roof collapse, there's always positives that come out from these negative type situations. And to me, it's always about the people that surround me, and whether that be the people that work for me or the people that are my neighbors in both Bridgewater and Rainham. It's just that collective effort to try to get through, the difficult times. And I saw that firsthand with, the Mitchell collapse. You had parents giving of their time, coming and loading boxes and setting up classrooms and transitioning, students to other buildings. And you see it now. You see it, a situation where our food service department is providing, 350 meals a day to students throughout the communities of Bridgewater or Rainham that need them, because, they might be a situation, there might be a financial need. It may be a situation where, parents have lost jobs. It might be a situation where they have people in their families that are ill and need that support. So I look around, I see even with my own children, the teachers reaching out via Zoom to the students and setting up classrooms of Zooms so that even though the kids are physically distanced, they can be socially connected. So, there's always good that comes out of these situations. It's a very, difficult and sorrowful time in our state and our country and globally. But to me, sometimes you just got to look to the left and to the right and realize that good stuff's happening around us despite, the negativity that exists. And I think those are the types of things that I take from these type of situations, and that is the resiliency and grit of our communities and the folks within this district.
To talk about the resiliency of people, to change the tone here, one of the things that we started to see on the district's Facebook page has been the upside down frown challenge.
What happened to the frog's car when it broke down?
I don't know what happened.
It got towed away.
Boom.
Hey, Owen.
Yes?
Why did the dog get so jealous of its owner?
Why?
Because the dog only had 4 legs and its owner had 4 arms.
Oh my gosh, that joke is so lame. I need to show you a funny joke. Huh.
First, what are some of the top jokes you've heard? And you started this challenge with you and your daughter on the front step. And also, what was the idea behind this challenge to try and put a smile on people's faces during a tumultuous time?
Yeah, one thing we've stressed with our staff throughout this, if we were going to be remote learning, we again wanted to, even though we are physically apart, we wanted to continue to be socially connected to our students and our families. And I just stated that, yesterday my daughter was on a Zoom with her science teacher and was able to connect with all of her classmates. So we've really emphasized that as being a big part of this remote plan. So, part of that being, as an administrator, myself and Mr. Powers, one of the best parts of our job is when we get to go visit schools, and we visit schools, daily, but definitely throughout the week, we try to get to all the schools, and we have a really good connection with all of our students. And we saw that, teachers were being socially connected to kids, but it's difficult for us from an admin perspective to do that. So we started to kind of think about ideas of what we could do, and we started to create videos from the different schools, which have been great as well. And then I just kind of thought it'd be great because Mr. Powers and I love to have a good laugh here and there, and we love to incorporate that in our visits with our students and our staff. Wouldn't it be nice to, similar to the ALS challenge, kind of do, in a very difficult and sad time, try to turn that frown upside down and, put to work some of our best dad jokes, as my daughter would say. So it started off with, myself, kind of setting the stage as to what this challenge was going to be, and then challenging Mr. Powers. And if you kind of see the timeline and how it progresses, each person kind of adds their own flavor to it, to the point where I wish I didn't go first, because I would have definitely added a little bit more of my flavor to my presentation of a joke. But each one is kind of top the next, which I think is great. And I think that's important because oftentimes students see the administration as the bosses of the school, the disciplinarians, and you don't really get to see behind the curtain that we are people, we are parents, and we are folks that truly care about all of our kids and our staff and our communities. So I thought this was a kind of a nice way to kind of show, let me ham it up, which I love to do, and as do my admin team, but also as a way of kind of connecting and reaching out on a daily basis and giving, folks a smile and a good feeling inside, even if it's for a few minutes every morning. And I got to tell you, that's exactly the feedback that we have received. I've received so many emails from folks. There'll be times when I'll have a meeting and I didn't get to upload the video to Facebook, and people will email say, "Is there a joke today?" I say, "Well, I'm going to get to that piece to it. That's an important part of my job, but I got other stuff going on too." But people have said they look forward to it. And little things like that are what I think make our community and make our district so special. It's the little things that, that play such a big role in part. And that's kind of what our thought process was when instituting this little initiative.
And if nobody has seen these videos, you certainly have to go on to the district's Facebook page and hear them, because some of them are good. Some of them takes a while for the laugh to come, but you'll get it. Never know. It could be.
I love them all. I think they are outstanding. But the two that stick out to me, and you have to know the personalities of the people. Dennis Bray.
Hey BR, this is Mitchell Principal Dennis Bray here, and I was challenged by Assistant Superintendent Ryan Powers to complete the Turn Your Frown Upside Down Ice Bucket Challenge.
Dad,
What?
it's not the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, it's the Turn Your Frown Upside Down Challenge. You have to tell a joke.
I just have to tell a joke?
Yes!
Oh, I thought I had to do the Ice Bucket Challenge. So, to all my friends and families at the Mitchell Elementary School, here's today's joke. Why does a math book always worry? Because it has so many problems. I would like to now challenge La Liberty Principal, Mrs. Holly Hargraves, to complete the Turn Your Frown Upside Down, not Ice Bucket Challenge, but Joke of the Day.
And Mr. Clark with the Chuck Norris.
And I've enlisted the aid of one Chuck Norris, martial artist, to help us. Here are a few interesting facts about Chuck Norris. In a game of Connect 4, Chuck Norris only needs 3 moves to win the game. Chuck Norris' calendar goes from March 31st straight to April 2nd simply because no one fools Chuck Norris. Finally, when Chuck Norris enters the room, he doesn't turn the lights on, he turns the darkness off. I hope that these true facts about Chuck Norris have lifted your spirits.
That was outstanding. So, but they all done such a wonderful job, and they've just all been such good sports about it. And now I'm having teachers reach out to us saying, once all the administrators are done, we'd love to be part of it as well. So we're going to keep it going, hopefully for the remainder of the school year.
Never know. Could work its way into the convocation video for next year as a suggestion. Finally here, teachers in schools, as you said, of making YouTube videos saying that they miss the students, saying hi to the students. They generally miss having the students in the classroom. So as a superintendent of the district, is there a message you wanted to relay to students, staff, parents that are going through the situation right now?
Absolutely. In the beginning of this situation, obviously, again, you think about what's in the best interests of every student, and that's our job as educators. We need to figure out what is in the best interest of each student, despite some deficits they may have in learning, or if there's a language issue, or if there's something that they may need extra support in. And the last thing we ever want to do is interrupt their educational process. And education it's such a vital key to a student's success down the line and becoming, successful members of society. However, we also have to realize that obviously health and safety and the well-being of our students has to trump everything. Not only our students, but also our staff and our parents. And I just want to say to all of our students, all of our staff, all of our parents, my administrative team who are out there. I'm here in the office today, but it's very quiet. It's very lonely. And I do miss the hustle and bustle of hearing the students down the hallway of the Mitchell Elementary School. I do miss the interaction with with my colleagues. I do miss the interaction with our teachers and our secretaries and our custodians and our paras and our proctors and everyone that plays a role within our district. And like I said from the beginning, remote learning can never take the place of a traditional brick and mortar school. But for me, it's not the brick and mortar that makes it different. It's the people within it. And not being able to interact with those individuals each and every day, first and foremost, the kids, has been very difficult for all of us. we all got into education because we're people to people and we love kids. And when that element is removed, it makes the job much different. And I'm realizing that as this thing progresses on, and how much we do miss our students, and I do miss our colleagues, and I do miss our interaction with our parents as well. So I just want to let all of you know that the superintendent, but the entire BR family misses all of you. We wish you the best. We need you to stay healthy. We need you to stay well. We need you to continue to practice social distancing and all of the other health-related strategies, washing hands, and doing everything you need to do so that we can flatten this curve and we can be in the same place together collectively very soon. So we miss all of you. We love you, and stay well.
Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Swenson.